It's been an amazing friendship, fellowship, journey, and it hasn't always been easy. There's been clashes and disagreements, and as I get older, I really value the effect that it has had on my life. That was one of the questions that Pat sent to everyone. What has been, the effect that Mariam June has had, and there's just so many. I couldn't list it. You will see what I have written to you, but yeah, it's amazing. I saw something, a little clip the other day about some teacher. He was showing a pencil, a new pencil. And he said, this is just a piece of wood with a piece of charcoal in it. Unless you sharpen it, and you have to kind of keep sharpening it, it's not going to work. But the pencil can't claim, the work of the pros that it gets it. So you say it, I'm very grateful that, you acknowledge, masalan, my part in it. But truly, when it's a bit like falling in love. When you fall in love, you don't recognize yourself anymore. Things just sort of take over. I really want to leave that with all of you. Don't underestimate yourselves. Don't stay small. Don't get happy. I think shoes are wonderful. Your shoes are wonderful. But, they're wonderful for a moment. But you are wonderful. You are full of wonder. Don't drop your sandals. Don't be lazy. It just, and we need that. Because I think consciousness is dimming with all the ignorance that we experience. And we fool ourselves because technologically or whatever, we're advancing, and all this, and we all live longer and all the rest of it. But the life we're given has a purpose, has an aim.
What everything would have been in my life if I haven't met you, everybody else on the school and all that. Quickly, I think, I don't want even to think about it because I think the difference would have been, I would have survived, but my life would not, our life would not be like this. So I'm happy to.
It's exactly what you say, that potential is there. And something has to open the bottle, so to speak, and let the thing out. And what a waste when you look around you and you see people with all kinds of possibilities who just stay small. They just, they're happy about buying stuff.
I would have never thought I can tutor, for example.
Yep, and you're very good. And when I listen to your voice, it has changed so much. And you've grown actually younger over the years. Really.
We're not
Shabnam. Just turned 6.
You did? Yeah. Very good. We've been married as long as you've been alive.
I realize that.
Yes, I just.
Mariam, please, just wanted to thank you. Really,
How will you thank me? Because I don't need thanks, but how will you thank me?
by carrying your
Yes.
instructions.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Yes. It's wonderful. Really wonderful. And this thing, I don't know, you see it or not. I'm in contact with you all
That's
the time.
exactly what I was trying to tell Karen.
All the time. I talk
I
to you.
feel it without any.
Yeah, and I said, what would she say? What would she do? And all your instructions, your tough love. And I remember them and I just take them to my heart and try to see what was she trying to tell me. It's not like what she wanted me to follow. So I do that.
So what you're saying is really important because the ego would take offense. Because I have talked to all of you at some point or other, kind of sharply. But that ego is getting smaller and smaller. And it's the wise one that sort of says, what was in that? And it's not what I said, because I never decide ahead of time what I'm going to say. In fact, some of those conversations are very difficult, and I'd rather not have them. So this is like the highest form of love, I think, which is not clingy, it's not attachment, it's not personal. And that's all we can do. The reason we are here is to make the world a better place for everyone, without becoming evangelical about it. You know what I mean?
So it's wonderful, and then I try to do the same.
Yeah.
Last night I was talking to our brother, Camelia, and she had some issues, questions. I've been trying to sugarcoat it, and yesterday, I was cooking. I put the cooking down and just told her as is. This is my responsibility. I don't want to hurt her. I want to protect her emotions and feelings. But I told her, this is it from you.
You cannot hurt somebody if your intention is pure. It's not possible. Even if you speak very directly.
And it was not about her and I. It was about something that I see.
Yeah.
Not wrong. It's not. And I told her, and she was, wow, whoa. Let me say goodbye and think about it. You are one with us. So never separate.
At some point I heard, I don't know who said, that the bond between a teacher and student is never lost, not even after death. So, we talk about McLaren and Shane Mulhall, and they are kind of, we never even met them. Most of you never met any of them. Okay.
And from our part also, there's no, speaking about no sadness. Every time I think about, our different ways, not having you every Saturday, ABC, I'm quite happy. No sadness in Egypt.
When I left England, we had a lot of friends there. And everybody said, are you keeping in touch, and all that? And have you heard from so-and-so? I said, no. You cannot do that the whole time, physically keep in touch. But, when we meet, it's like a time never passed. It's always fresh. So, yeah.
It's all love.
Very good. Moisés.
Yes, I had another birthday last week, and I can honestly say in the last few years I've been happiest.
Yeah.
Truly feel the energy. My heart is open more than ever. Honestly, in the last few years.
Yeah, because you got rid of some toxicity in your life.
Yes, but also it was the teaching. I could have easily gone the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So I'm very aware that it is the teaching, it's living consciously. I am often the observer of what's happening around me, and I know I'm responsible not to be reactive. I know I can bring calmness to a situation. So, on a day-to-day basis, that is my role, even at work. I really understand what it means. Work is love made possible now. So really understand that very clearly. And I want to let you know, Mariam, even with the book club ladies, which have all come across your path one way or another, every time we're having a fabulous time, where the Bahawana is wonderful, Obviously, a few women, we have issues going on and sometimes, but we all truly connect, and we always remember you and say thank you for Mariam June, for the teachings, for the connection and the community she brought to us. It's
I had a very nice letter from Elizabeth. Very nice.
Yeah, every single one of them. We are so grateful to you, and you are something else, Mariam June. The teaching is there, it's on a piece of paper, but you're something else.
I became something else through service. Yesterday, Pat came and, I said, there's a lot of physical work involved. Just physical work. Bringing in these chairs. Pat brought a bunch of these chairs in her car, when you do all of that and you realize, oh my God, I'm so strong, I can do even more stuff that you know, didn't imagine you could do, because if you are not the doer, because of the aim, the energy flows. And so, yeah, I became, if you like, whatever it is you said, through the service, through Love Made Visible. And what work is love made visible? What does it mean? It means that when you open your heart, love flows and the result is visible. You didn't do anything. You just stepped back, took your foot off the brake, you know, off that I can't do it, I don't have time, you know, all that nonsense. I'm not good enough.
Yes. So it's a huge
And
blessing.
in you, I hear now when you speak, you're not speaking theoretically, because you always spoke very well. Because, you know, there's a lot of wisdom out there, and, you know, we can quote it and so on. But I feel that now it's much more real.
I'm still growing. Still room.
The journey is endless, by the way. Yeah. Françoise.
Yeah, I guess practical philosophy made me a much stronger person. It has been useful, helpful in my life. And so I feel more peace, and each time I practice something, I do something, I really feel the peace. And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. So I feel good. And I know that tutoring the classes really helped me. It's an amazing journey, and thank you.
You're one of the lucky ones, because I think you were already partially there. In you, I always felt much less resistance. Your ego is small. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy you're in a good place in your life with Robert and with your family. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
I go to her. Well, I sit on my chair. She teaches
Yoga.
yoga. And your little brightness shines, whatever you do. So it's lovely.
Thank you.
I don't want you to think that we haven't had differences. Yes, as you probably some of you know, some of our differences got to a point that we got divorced, that we got married again. Mariam was at the school in London for 15 years when we both retired and decided to come to the States. Her benefits, she'd been at the school for 15 years, a student, as well as tutoring. So she really was very concerned about missing what benefits she's been getting. So she approaches Mr. Lambie and says, what would you say if I started the school in California? And after some conversation, he said, okay. And so we came over. Here, I'd like to mention Florida, because we had been coming and going, but we didn't really, apart from immediate family, my daughter and her immediate sister and brothers, we didn't know anybody here. So Florida was a very great instrument because of her knowledge and friends and so on. She, word of mouth, literally gathered enough people interested, as she also started attending some of the things about the school. So Mariam started off by taking the school to the students in various places. She used to put the trunk of the car inside it, tea, coffee, a water heater, and so on, and go to various places. She would clock in over hundreds of miles a week, from Palo Alto to Tibron, San Francisco, and Denver, until eventually the school was to the stage that it required to have a place, and we've been moving. And the last one was obviously in Pleasanton. And of course, what happened? COVID. And that could have been a big blow. But fortunately, she managed and started off the virtual way and brought the school to what it is today. Now, that was a very short circle of story. The reason I brought this up is what I have found in the 60 years with Mariam, and now again I'm speaking as a student, not her husband. She is a person unique in her judgment, her devotion to something that she decides can be done, and commitment, and developing it to the maximum possible. And this is exactly what she has done, starting this school by taking it to the students to the level that you as tutors all know. But like everything else in life, there is a time for everything. And the time has come, obviously, for her that she retired. And from now on, it's in the capable hands of Pat and you tutors. And my last word is really remembering everything that you have said. Also remember that the crown jewel of Mariam's life has been this school. So my request is Pat and you continue the legacy that she's created. And that would be the biggest gift you could give to Mariam. I have benefited from this school so much, as I said, I would have to write a book. And if I had an opportunity, I would ask her to marry me again. Love you all.
Love you too.
When Pat emailed and said, to write something about, what we learned from philosophy, and also send a picture. And I went through my pictures, and I didn't have a picture with you. It was all the good pictures. And for a few days, I was really upset. I said, well, if you are gone, I don't have a picture.
First of all, there's no if, and secondly, there's always cropping. Not everybody had a picture.
So I asked around, and Nasrin was kind enough to send me something. But then, those few days that I was struggling inside, I thought, I have all these pictures in here. All the time we talk and under this tree, over the phone, the review session, all the good times, all the teary times. Those are very precious to me, and I'm grateful for that. And about the school and the teaching is on the side. There are a lot of wisdoms out there, but what I appreciate the most is the different role that you played. You were like a mother to me, the closeness that I never had. You were a teacher, good teacher, and sometimes you were very hard.
As mothers should.
And I appreciate that. And a lot of times a very good friend. When I wanted someone just to hear me out. I love you.
I love you too.
I remember Mariam in the first term that you were teaching. You said that the school is like a church for non-religious, and I'd always thought to myself that it would be wonderful that I could belong to a church, but I'm not a religious person, so I never thought I would, that wish would come true. But it did, and I'm so grateful for the teachings of both of you, and for all the friends, everybody, the good company, because I always have been very picky in finding friends, and I never thought there is such a beautiful source of friendship within school that even people I haven't, been in classmates with, I see them and I want to hug them because we all have something in common.
common goal.
It's like a sort of a family, a community.
A very beautiful community, a very supportive family. And the other thing that school made me realize, the teaching made me realize, when I go back in my life, I realized that all of my wishes have come true. So and it's amazing because, usually you think about things that, oh, I have this goal, I have that goal, and what I'm going to do in the future. But when I look back and see everything that I ever wanted, and not necessarily, in a short time frame, it was a wish. Some of them took 15 years to to come to be, but they did, and so that has created a trust within me, a trust to the universe, and the trust that if something doesn't happen, it probably shouldn't be. It's not good for me. So I really appreciate all the teachings. I appreciate you had, and all the teachers I've had the pleasure of, assisting, and all the friends. I just, I overwhelmed with joy being among you.
Don't forget to appreciate that light, that awareness that's in yourself. You can listen to the best teachers in the world, for example, and read the best books. But unless there is that Brahman, it's not going to manifest in yourself. And, as I listen to all of you, it's really interesting. It's very peaceful. It's not competitive. It's not like I'm trying to come up with the cleverest observation. It's just so true and so real and so honest. So it really is wonderful. And what you talked about is contentment. It's trust. It's faith in yourself and the universe. But if it hasn't happened, it's not supposed to happen yet. It will happen at some point. Everything will work out. This friendship with the universe actually makes everyone your friend.
Yeah.
And you become a
brings
friend
a
to
lot
everyone.
of peace.
Absolutely.
Lifts a lot of weight.
Yeah. In Sanskrit, it's santosh. Santosh is content. Good. Karan,
I'm just shaking my head because I'm just listening to what everybody is sharing, and that's the same thing that I want to say. But I have to say, 15 years ago, the universe gave me the biggest gift of my life, and that was you. I'm going to cry. Coming to Danville, 10 minutes from me. I couldn't even say no if it were, if you were in San Francisco, San Jose, or wherever else. This was really, I feel like it was the biggest gift. And you are the person who could have reached me. No one else, I think, would have been able to reach me. And I was always amazed at your generosity, at the energy that you put in each and every one of us. It was so easy to just give up and say, okay, you don't follow, you don't do this or that. But no, every word of your mouth brought an awareness in me. And I cannot tell you all the good things that you brought to my life, you and the teacher.
So you said a couple of very important things, and I'm speaking personally to you. There is a tendency in you to stand back, to say no. Not allowed, you're too polite for that, but in yourself, close the door. I have the opposite tendency. I have to stop myself from saying yes all the time. You know what I mean? And you can change that bhavana, not because, I'm saying I am this, but because it's such a good one. Remember that story about the plumber's van? The answer is yes. What is the question? Because when you have that kind of a bhavana in you, when you are, ashti, with the Lord, when you are friends with the universe, then the universe helps you. When you say, I can only do things this way, for example, only, you're limiting yourself. And the universe says, okay, get on with it. You turn on YouTube and God knows, you listen to people and it's magnificent what we have out there. But the care is what keeps people together. Picking up the phone and saying, oh, you've been absent for 12 times. Is everything okay? All of that.
Yeah, at the end of the classes, I ended up being friends with pretty much most of the students because I genuinely wanted, I cared and wanted them to come. I wanted to hear about them.
Yeah.
I almost had to let go because you just want to keep every class and then see them, but you can't because we're switching.
Because it's not about caramel or Azita
so and so.
It's not personal.
Yes. But thank you for all these blessings.
It's a really nice segue to what I was going to share. And for me, as some of you know, Azita joined the school one term before I did. And after the end of, she was really suggesting it to me, and she gave me the 5-star review after the first term. So she convinced me.
We operate on 10 stars.
Okay. Well, that's when it was still 5 stars. But really going back to memory lane, I was fortunate, and I'm glad Ferry June is here, because when I took my the wisdom class, Ferry June was our tutor. And it was such a pleasant experience. And people like me, what the definition of the meaning of common, I could sense it.
Yes.
I could sense it really in how we interacted with the people, with the students. And also, as we all know, the term June, as we always had to explain to our non-version, is the term of endearment. And just how freely it was expressed across everybody. I met you around that probably first term, and I was already June to you. And that really was the foundation, the basis of my experience, my introduction to school. And and as everyone here through the experiences, you're feeling, Francois mentioned the peacefulness. I have developed that consciousness that peacefulness comes from being conscious of those other, as we call, tyrants, things that get in the way of your happiness, your contentment. And I'm like probably everyone else, I'm much more peaceful, much happier person. And of course, thanks to the school's teachings, thanks to all of you who have had, I've taken class with a number of you here. And also, how I see it in all my relationships, whether it's my kids, wife, siblings, and others, it has really left a mark that it's noticeable even when I hear the comments from them. Mm-hmm. So we, as we say here, practice what we preach. And the preaching that we've heard from school, we've kind of all practicing it, and we've seen it practiced. And that has made a big difference. And like Reza can say, I don't know where I would have been if I hadn't run into it or come across the school. And I'm so grateful.
I have a big soft spot for the men in the school because I think men's egos are much more rigid. And it really takes a man, a gentle man, to step forward and, open their hearts and so on. And one time, Fari said something very important, that he said, I think I was angry all my life. Not angry, he was a very nice guy. But there's this thing inside, which takes the offense and which has to, win every argument, which has to be right all the time. And really we need, as I was listening to you, your voice is so reasonable. And you said conscious. That's the point. Remember one time I pulled your ear because your computer wasn't working properly and the audio was. Well, come on, get on with it, deal with it, right? So when we see an issue that we can resolve and we don't resolve it, that weakens that light which is inside. So don't let the light get dim. And it has nothing to do with age, nothing to do with anything. I mean, one of the greatest examples is Ferry. You know, I love him and everything, but now we were speaking this morning about all the different ways we have known each other. You know, I speak almost like his teacher at times. I have, you know, our relationship has blossomed because that angry person is now a peaceful person, a happy person. Nothing to do with what's happening in the life. It's the greatest gift.
I don't want to make this long, and everybody has said everything that I want to say as well. But all I can add is that what I've learned from the school and what has really impacted me more than anything, mainly two things. One is that I thought I always had boxed myself in. Things that I can do is like a list of things. I'm capable of this, but not capable of that. And if you recall, my first, I think, resistance to you was when, after the first class, wisdom class, at the end, you asked me to be your assistant for the next term. And I had been hesitant and saying that I cannot do that. I said no to you. Or I said, well, no, but I have this going on and that and that and that. But you didn't give up on me. And I did that. I did that for a few years. And then the second time when you asked me to be a tutor a year and a half ago, and that was to me, wow, I cannot do this. How can I do think I can do tutor? Although I have to say, you had approached me, Nassim had approached me before even, God bless Gloria had. But I still thought that was not in me. I'm
I
not.
sent you to Shide.
I'm not the Nassim Junaid. I'm not built. I'm not made to be tutor. That was
And you're
my mind.
excellent, by the way.
Huh?
You're excellent.
I don't know about
That's
that.
Yes.
No, I still have a lot to get. So once I discovered that I do have the potential, I do have the capabilities, I just have to find it and bring it out of myself. That made a lot of difference for me. And then the last one, of course, when you asked me to do the PayPal. No, I'm not an accountant. I'm not good with
By the
finances.
way,
I've
you're
never been good
brilliant
with
because you're
finances.
very accurate and very. You're really good at that.
But so I was really nervous and really hesitant about it. But once I started, and of course, you were watching over me and you know, taught me everything I needed to know, and I got a little bit more confident. And I thought, you know what? I can do this. Of course, I can do this. I guess my only last problem, which you again pointed out to me, was that I was too shy to ask. And I mean, I might still be, I'm better now as far as, approaching people and asking, what about this, what about that? By the way, Pat, maybe now is a good time that I can bring that up, that I emailed you about
You can.
for next term,
Yes.
registration
You're all
for
going to get
next
an
term.
email, but go ahead and say it.
Please, tutors and your assistants, if you have not registered, please register. Because if you don't
That's
use
the first
that,
thing.
how do we expect our students to do it? We are role models for them. So that was how do I approach it? So I sent that email to Pat about it. But what I'm trying to say is that I really came out of my shell in terms of what I can do and what I cannot. The second thing is that I'm more cognizant of, I don't want to say mistakes, but when I stray from my path, if I snap at somebody, like I did yesterday at somebody who should remain nameless, um, I catch myself sooner and I apologize.
Very good.
So, I mean, other than everything else, these two were my main two takeaways.
So this is exactly what I meant. It's like you see a weed and you pull it out. So you notice in yourself that you have difficulty asking. But who has difficulty asking? It's the ego that has difficulty asking. If you want to ask the tutors, for God's sake, sign up yourselves now and then send an email to your students and get them to sign up. you're not, it's not for you that you're asking. So that's, so the ability to see our own shortcomings and not feel that you're stuck with it is fantastic. So on all those fronts that you talked about, you're very good. And I said excellent. Excellent comes from excelling every day. You're only in competition, if you like, with yourself. Today I'll be better than I was yesterday. Today I won't repeat the mistake I made the day before this. That's all. That's all. So we need to be on that path instead of being stuck and saying, I'm like this, I've always been like this, I've never been good at this, and then that's it. And then you stop growing. Thank you.
About it. I feel like in a person's life, there are highlights. First, there's birth, probably, and then there's graduation, then there's marriage, and there's birth of your children, and then there's coming to philosophy. And I feel like for me, that's even more important than all of these other events that have happened. And going back to being born the first time, it's kind of like, so what, But what you make out of it,
Yes,
is really, I think, and that for me, I think it started with getting emotional. Sorry, started with philosophy. So, a new person was probably born.
yes.
Or discovered, or uncovered, as we say in school. And it not only affected me, it has affected Baba, my children. When I called my son and said, can you bring the tea and coffee? I'm running late. I can't come home to pick it up. Without any question, he said, philosophy? Sure, no problem. And he was in bed and he was going to take his time, but he was here quickly. Yet there's no reluctance in helping and being a part of this. And so I want to thank you and the teaching for everything. And I feel that there's something that I've seen in the last few months to couple years has really affected my life. And as I have seen difficulties arise, difficulties that I never would have expected. If I didn't have this teaching, I think I would have crashed. I would, but this helped me rise above and to get through those periods. And as things also happen again with each time, I connect with the self, with the strength that's within, and it helps me get through those.
And not just get through them, but get through it peacefully, harmoniously, creatively,
Absolutely.
and with causing no harm.
Thank you.
Oh, where to begin? First of all, I just want to give you my sincere gratitude before anything else. I recall one time I was listening to one of the CDs that I had in my car. I used to listen to it going to LA on the back. And I remember you mentioned if somebody asked me how to describe practical philosophy, it's like asking someone who has not tasted mango, something like that, like
Banana.
the banana or mango. And you said, you're not going to remember the teaching, but what you remember is the effect of the teaching. And I just want to say that I feel the effect of these teachings in my everyday life. From the moment I wake up until I go to bed, I fall off the track many times. But it's like I see it, I get up, I fix it, and then I'll just attempt, better. Um, I I feel like my vocabulary has expanded. I have different words for things. I don't call situations difficult anymore or annoying or it's like it's life. It's happening and expanding. And I love the expansion that I see in myself. And I have you to thank for, because when I didn't trust myself that there were many things like Nazi said, he gave me that opportunity. Because, I have got rid of a lot of fears that I had. Except for the fear of the water, which you were going to teach me swimming later.
You never know.
Yeah, so I think this is the best gift. I put it on Facebook that this is the best gift of wisdom. And somebody challenged me that wisdom is not a gift. And I said, no, it's absolutely, it is a gift. And
It's
it is
given.
within. It's given. It's not somebody's deprived from it. It's open to everyone. It's just you know, accessing it. And it's for wiser tools. So thank you for giving me it.
So you talked about speech and words and language, and the most important place where it's affecting is up here, because it's that inner speech that we're mostly unconscious about, unaware of, that causing the damage. So when you have different words, it's a different kind of speech. And for people who say it's not a gift or whatever, it doesn't matter. Compassion. You know? Compassion. I mean, they may be bigger than you, older than you, more educated than you, whatever, but they're younger than you spiritually. And so the best thing to do is just be who you are. And when people are ready, don't pick up. Yeah, I wish there were people around the block, banging the door to come. But things are the way they are.
Also, I wanted to thank you for this gift that was given, but we didn't know it's a gift until you helped all of us to dig in the dirt, all that digging to find this gift. You always told us that everybody has this gem within, and you need to really dig, and it needs work in order to get it. And I didn't understand what you were talking about, but now I completely understand what you're talking about. And I think that's what's happening. What happened to all of us. And one of the things that happened to me personally is that my heart opened. And that's why I'm crying right here. Because I think for me, my heart was hard. And it became hard. It was open first, but as time passed by, it became really hard.
You had a difficult life.
And I think, it just, you helped me to soften the heart little by little, although I know I gave a lot of resistance. But I remember one day you told me you resist so much, give up or let go. And I thought, I don't understand what she's talking about. But I know now that what a beautiful gift you gave me. And so I'm very, very grateful to you.
The beauty of a gift is that you have to open it and use it. And sometimes you have to kind of learn to use it because, you've never had that before. And look at this. Look at where we are right now. But look at the gift of this amazing tree, the shades. I was in Istanbul once and I was just wandering around. I'd been to see the Hagia Sophia. And I walked into a sort of a garden, and it was a restaurant, or it was like a cafe, the garden. And I sat, and I ordered some apple tea, and then I kind of looked up, and I was under the street. It was exactly like this. And I remember I took a picture like this. It was just the sunlight, the dappling, we are drowning in gifts. And then we say, but I wish I had this and that. And, we don't use the one. And the greatest gift of all is the self, is the light of the self, which is You also have grown younger. What did you guys eat? That's,
They traveled to the belt to the group.
that opening of the heart is beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dad, you want to say something?
I would love to say something.
Alumni.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say that a teaching is brought to life through the teacher. And you breathe life into this teaching. To me, it feels like this was the soil from which my life was bloomed. I'm very grateful.
You made a big decision.
Yeah.
When you changed course.
So I live a life of service.
Yeah.
This is my life now. And it's put me on a journey of development and deepening. And I would say the biggest gift from a teacher is to see the wholeness and reflect back the wholeness that each of us forgets that we have. I'll speak for myself, I have forgotten. So I'm grateful for your team for fertilizing my life.
Well, you're one of those ones that I always miss. A lot of people come and leave and so who knows? Maybe when they're much older.
Yeah. I'm not separate from it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pat, do you want to say anything?
I would echo everything that's said. You and I talk all the time, so you know how I feel. One thing I would like to say is the teachings that you've brought to us. I'm going to throw around a couple of Sanskrit words that I've heard at Walkyo, and that was Vayatireka and Anvaya.
Yeah.
So the teachings are all about two things. One is helping us discover our impediments and overcome them. And the other is a taste of the divine, the absolute, that draws you closer. And this is what I've heard today, is all aspects of those two things. And clearly the teachings are having them. So as everybody knows, Mariam has stepped aside and I've taken on the head. When we're so grateful. I know I'm personally grateful because for someone who's a complete control freak,
You or me?
to be able to plan and execute what you've done in the last year and a half, 2 years, you know, finding people to fill positions, trying to dump all your knowledge into me. I mean, we're so grateful. What a gift, because otherwise I know it would have been almost impossible to continue. So, and this is your baby. And this is your baby. And so as a parent, well done. Not that I'm qualified to say that, but
Thank you.
you know, and I brought these succulents today to put on the table, and as I was driving over, I was thinking all of these succulents here are broken off things from somewhere else that I stuck in the dirt.
And now here they are.
And now here they are, and I was thinking that's so much of what you've done is all these people that you've pulled into your life, and you stuck us in the dirt. And bro, I mean, that's such a beautiful thing.
He's given us good metaphors.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a little something I prepared. It's basically a love letter.
I
from
love
your
love
students.
letters. So beautiful. You know, this teaching is, shall I
You want to
open
pass
it now?
it? Yes, of course. Please do.
This teaching is so precious that once you've seen the effect of it in your own life, the transformation, then you can't help but want to share it. And it affects people sort of second hand and third hand. And I feel that it puts out the vibrations. I really feel very responsible. The older I get, the more responsible I feel as a grandparent of like the world. Oh,
There you are.
oh, I recognize this shirt.
So
my
I asked the students to give a little memory or something, and so
This
there's not
is-
a lot of pictures.
This is the most precious thing. wow. Well, obviously, I'm going to have to look at this carefully, read it many times. I wrote Farry a love letter yesterday because it was our 60th anniversary. And at the bottom, I signed Guess Who.
Did he guess?
And put it on his desk. And when he came back from swimming, he said, somebody must have come into the house. So we should just thank him. So then he said, he read it. And then he said, I have to read it a few more times because. So I'm going to be reading this many times. Thank you all. But honestly, I feel so privileged in my life in every way. With the parents that I had, the sort of, I don't know, the environment I grew up in, even the so-called bad things that happened in life. Now, well, not you, I'm happy with who I am. I give my life, a good grade. And when you experience that privilege, you have no choice but to pay it forward, kind of thing. And you elevate, not you elevate, but your perception of life, your perspective is different. You're standing somewhere else and you see things. Sometimes when I think about the timing of everything, not just the philosophy school, but in our lives, when we made decisions, sort of usually earlier than other people, to leave, like to leave Iran, for example, or to leave England, or to start the school, or to sell the building, or give up the place, or to start this process, with you. Because when we started, I was in great shape. I mean, but if we hadn't gotten to where we are, I don't know what I would have done. So once you've been given this gift of, as we say in the school, insight and foresight and all of that, you just want to tell everyone how different it looks, how, you've all been asking me how I am. And as I've often told you, it's not just words, I am fine. And Barry says he hates to see me suffer. I don't suffer. I really don't suffer. I never get upset. And sometimes tears fall. You came with your food the other day and we talked about Floria and both of us were in tears. But it's just like an amazing, it's like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu all rolled into one.